guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for deciding to click on today's video. It is going to be my review on the brand new Bounce Foundation from Beauty Blender. I am going to be sharing my thoughts with you guys on this foundation in this video, and I'm also going to be sharing an application of it. So if you guys are ready to go ahead and get started, let's get into it. Bounce foundation that I did purchase. I purchased this off of Sephora's website. It is $40 and available in 32 shades. For me, I got the shade 2.30, and I do feel like that is a really good match for my skin tone. I got lucky when picking my shade. I will say that even with trying to pick my shade in this, obviously we know all of the backlash with the shade range on this foundation. I actually had a really hard time even trying to find my own shade because I feel like there was so many shades for medium skin tones that I was kind of confused, like trying to find which one would match me. You guys know probably the story behind this. I feel like they came out with 32 shades and it's just a very poor shade range. There's honestly so many medium shades that it's kind of, like I said, overwhelming for someone with medium skin tone. Not to mention the fact that there are very, very few dark shades in this foundation, which obviously is unacceptable, and I don't understand why they would come out with 32 shades and make such a wide range of medium shades. Like, I'm not sure why they didn't just do, you know, 10 shades for light, 10 shades for dark, 10 shades for medium, and kind of leave it at that. I'm not really sure why there's so many shades of medium in this foundation. And obviously I'm hoping that they do widen the shade range, and I hope that going forward, this is a lesson to Beauty Blender, that they need to be more inclusive, and also to other brands that I feel like people aren't willing to stand for this anymore, so they really need to step up their game. So like I said, I did get the shade 230, so 2.30. It is actually a perfect match for me. I found that it matched really well. So here is what the foundation looks like. It does have 1 fluid ounce in it, and the packaging on this is what sold me on this foundation. I feel like the packaging is so innovative and so cool. So basically it has a lock right here, and you're gonna go ahead and unlock or lock the foundation, and your pump is right here on the top, and once you pump it out, it's actually going to distribute the foundation into this tray right here that you can actually directly put your Beauty Blender into, put your sponge into, put your brush into, and it's just right here on the tray. I think that is so cool and so different. I typically put it on my hand and then go onto my face, so I love the idea of having it right here on this tray. I think that that is genius. I think it's super smart and a really good idea for the packaging on this. I will say that it does kind of get a little bit messy on the inside there. You guys will see when I do the application that I can't get to go away, so if that's something that's gonna bother you, it doesn't really bother me, and it has a good lock, so it's not really gonna go anywhere or cause a mess if you choose to travel with this. So I'm gonna read you guys some of the claims from the box. So it says that this is going to be full coverage, a velveteen finish, moisture boosting with hyaluronic acid, also an antioxidant rich white birch extract. So this is supposed to be really hydrating and really good for your skin. It says that this is mainly made for oily skin, sensitive skin, but you can also use this if you have dry skin. It just says to make sure that you moisturize first. So I typically do have dry skin, and I used a moisturizing primer, and I don't have any problem when using this. I don't find that it flakes on me or anything like that, which is nice. I think that the finish on it is really, really pretty, and I think that it actually looks really nice on the skin. As for the wear time on this foundation, they say that it's supposed to be a 24-hour wear. I've not tried to wear it for 24 hours. I have worn this 4 times now, and I've worn it throughout the day, and I feel like it does last a really long time. It does look really pretty on the skin for a long time. I definitely wouldn't say it lasts 24 hours. I don't really know though, because I haven't tried it out. I will say that I do notice around the 6-hour mark to 4-hour mark, I do get a little bit oily with this foundation, which is something that happens to me in the summertime. So I'm not saying it's necessarily this foundation, but I have noticed with this foundation, I'll get pretty oily like in my T-zone, and then it will start to kind of break up a little bit down here, and also like in my smile lines, I will notice them a little bit more with this foundation. But all over, I do actually really like the formula. I feel like it looks really nice on the skin, and you also don't have to use a lot of product to get a really nice full coverage look with this, which is what I enjoy. I like more of a medium to full coverage, and I find that I can get that with this foundation with using a little bit of product. So now that we've chatted a little bit about the formula, let me go ahead and show you guys the application. So getting started with the application, I am going to apply my First Sally Unicorn Essence Drops. I absolutely love these. They're just really hydrating for the skin, and it also makes your foundation go on really smoothly. This is a primer I use all the time. All right, so now that we've got that on the skin, I'm gonna go ahead and go into my foundation. So I'm gonna turn off the lock right here and just turn it off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pump it out. So I've been using about 3 pumps when I do my foundation, so I'm just gonna pump out 3 pumps, and I just go directly in with my Beauty Blender and apply it to my face. So as you can see, it immediately gives good coverage. I find that you don't actually have to use very much of this to get the type of coverage that I enjoy most. I typically go for more medium to full coverage, and I feel like this foundation is really easy to blend out. I also feel like it's really easy to get a good amount of coverage with a small amount of product. So here's kind of what it looks like with the 1 layer. If you're wanting it to be more full coverage, and obviously you can add a second layer, and I will show you guys with a second layer. But I feel like it does a pretty good job of hiding my redness, and also I feel like it feels really nice on the skin. All right, so here is the finish that I do have with the 1 layer. I am gonna go ahead and add 2 more pumps just so I can show you guys what it looks like. If you do try to build it up to full coverage, we'll try and cover up these moles here and just kind of add on another layer. So if you're someone that really likes like full coverage, I don't know if this foundation is for you, because I feel like you need quite a bit of product to get that full coverage look. I mean, I would have to use 5 pumps of this to get this type of look. I prefer it with the first way that I showed it, and just like that more kind of natural looking foundation. That's the way I prefer, but I did want to show you guys with the extra layers what it did look like. After I've used up all of the product, this is what it's going to look like. Mine looks pretty clean actually. I would just take a paper towel and go over it. I will say that with this foundation, let me lock it so we don't get any more to come out. It isn't gonna come out of like that little crack right here. I've tried quite a bit of things to get it to come out of there, and it doesn't, so it just kind of sits there. So if that's something that's gonna bother you, then you might not like this foundation either. It doesn't necessarily bother me because I feel like it's not really going anywhere. Obviously, it's not gonna make a mess, but it does kind of look kind of gross just sitting there, but I feel like it's not a big deal. The rest of it looks clean once you've wiped it off. Here is a close-up of my skin with the 2 layers. Like I said, I do prefer it with the 1 layer. I do find that it just looks a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit more cakey, but a tiny bit like in this area. I feel like I can tell definitely that have quite a bit of foundation on. I will say that it dries down pretty nicely. Like right now my face is pretty dry. So if you are someone who doesn't really like to set your foundations with a powder, this is one that you could get away with not really setting because it does dry down really nicely. I've also applied my powders over top of this without any powder down, and they also blend really nicely. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my concealer and the rest of my face makeup, and then I will get ready to tell you guys my final thoughts. All right, and here we are with the final look using the Bounce foundation. So I'm gonna give you guys a close-up so you can see how my skin does look after I've applied the rest of my face makeup. So here you can see a close-up, so it does look really good. I did set it with a bit of powder, and it doesn't really have necessarily a very matte finish, which is what I was telling you guys earlier. I find it to have more of a kind of radiant finish, at least on my skin tone. You can tell even like up in this area right here that it just looks a little bit luminous, not too matte, which is what I like with my foundations. My final thoughts on the foundation, I do really enjoy it. I think it looks really nice in the skin. I think that you don't have to use a lot of product to get a nice amount of coverage, which is what I enjoy in my foundations. Absolutely love the packaging. I feel like it is so innovative, and I really like what they did with the packaging. I think it's really cool. Overall, I think the foundation performs really well. It lasts throughout the day. It's a very nice foundation. Obviously, they need to work on the shade range. I think that they should definitely come out with more shades and make sure that everyone has a match for them, because I feel like it's not fair to not include people. So I just hope that they will expand the range with this. But I did want to give this review up for you guys just so you could see, if you were thinking about purchasing it, how it does look on the skin and what I think about it. So that is why I did this review. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye, friends.